Most people think you need to be a coder or some kind of tech genius to build AI voice agents and sell them to local businesses. But that is completely wrong. With AI today, you can start an AI agency with zero experience, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can land your first client in the next 90 days with this system in this video. And for context, inside of my own agency, I charge my clients anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 plus upfront to build this system. Plus, that's not even recurring monthly revenue that I'm including on top of that. Now, of course, I've been in the game for years, but beginners with this model, I've seen been able to charge $3,000, $5,000 and even more for this service completely upfront. But here's the biggest mistake that beginners make today. They think that building a super good product, systems, or automations with new tools out there is what's gonna actually make them money, but it's not. Business owners do not care how you built the AI, okay? They care about more leads, more booked appointments, and more revenue that you are actively driving to their business that they can track. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I'm doing this today and what I've learned over the years when starting this at 16 years old with no money, no experience, and no clients, and built a business that does over $1 million per year by the age of 19 years old with this exact model, while I've documented the entire process on this YouTube channel over the past few years for the public eye to see. That being said, let's get into it. All right, guys, so I have an entire doc here that I'm gonna be showing you on the exact system that I use today, but the first thing I wanna cover is why I want you to know and why I believe that most online business models that you see out there are a complete waste of time. And it's the thing that, most people won't tell you online. All right. And as someone who has over the past few years tried a lot of different models, I can tell you with 100% certainty, business models like web design agencies, vibe coding, drop shipping, Amazon FBA, all this type of thing, it's all hype. Okay. At the end of the day, it's just like day trading. All right. And then look at the stats on day traders, like 97% or whatever, 99 fail, and it's kind of the same thing with these actually, because most people, and the reason I believe web design agencies, for example, are a complete waste of time. It's very big today because AI can make the websites or whatever. AI tools build websites for free now, and clients know this stuff. All right. Like they will go to places like Fiverr and go hire someone for $29. And even if you do sell this yourself, or what, are you going to go sell this for $50, $100? Seems like that's what everyone on YouTube tells you to do. You know how you have to, if you want to make substantial money, like I'm talking like 10, 20, 30, 50, 100K a month plus, you're not going to be able to, you're going to have to sell thousands of people on this. And there's a saying out there that I really, really agree with, which is it's so much easier to sell one expensive product to one person that actually has the money than sell to a bunch of broke people, kind of like a crappy service, which is really what this is at the end of the day, right? Next is vibe coding and tools like NAN. They're great tools. Okay. I've used some of them before, but it's not a business model. Again, when you go to businesses and you offer, for example, NAN services and automations, you're saving them time, but you're not making them money. That means they're not technically dependent on you. All right. You're just a nice to have. And again, you can't sell this stuff for much money. What are we selling this for? $100? This is a joke. I don't know why this has gotten big online. Okay. There's just very little money in this stuff, and it doesn't matter how good the product is. At the end of the day, you're probably not driving them more revenue. Okay. Because these tools really, it's not designed to do that. But what I'm going to be showing you does. And this is why for 3 years, I've been saying the same exact model. Next is drop shipping, Amazon FBA. This is kind of just all over taught, a lot of under delivered. Less than 5% of people even make any sort of consistent money with this. I know a lot of the big teachers out there in the whole space that teach this stuff. And I'll just say I've heard some things behind closed doors that would 100% validate what I'm saying here. Okay. Just not worth it. So what actually works is probably what you're wondering. Well, you need to come down to solving a specific painful problem that businesses have, and they already have money. Okay. And this is exactly what the model I talk about does, which is I coined it as an AI agency. I know a lot of people out there use AI agency as a term for selling NAN solutions and stuff. This is completely different. I don't put myself in that box at all. And when you really look at every business out there, a lot of local businesses specifically too have 3 key problems, and they all have this, which is number 1, they want to get more leads. All right. Because they want more customers. Number 2 is they want to get more appointments. Why do we care about a name, email, phone number from a lead if they're not actually converting into a live sales appointment on their calendar for them to go make money from? Whether it's a roofer, whether it's a real estate agent, doesn't matter. They all want sales calls. They don't really care about a crappy lead that comes through. Last is closing deals. You're going to figure out that a lot of business owners actually suck at sales, and they have a terrible sales process, and they could be easily making an extra 30 to 50K a year. And that's on the low end. If they just had a better sales process. So that's where it presents solutions and gaps in the market for me to go in and go solve. And this is what I'm going to be talking to you about today. And I'm going to be talking to you about how to actually get these clients as well. So number 1, when it comes to getting leads, you can run AI powered ads on Facebook and Instagram today. All right. This is so much so, and this is so true to the fact that Facebook has rolled out updates and Meta has rolled out updates, literally combating all of the AI creatives and ads out there. Okay, if there's an update, if you guys are marketers, you guys know this stuff. It was called the Andromeda update. This came out late last year. Essentially, what it was designed to do was to kill creative diverse, or to essentially encourage marketers to have more creatives and diversity in their marketing. Because now, instead of having to go pay huge, agencies, creative agencies to go make all your ads for hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can have AI do it for $10, for $5. And there's two tools I'm going to kind of shout out here that you guys can use. There's Ideogram and ArcAds. Okay, you guys can look this up after this video. Ideogram is what I use inside of my own agency for image ads, and ArcAds is what I use for video ads. Next, getting appointments. AI voice agents are hot right now, and they're only going to get better. All right, I've heard a lot of people bash it online, but at the end of the day, do you think there's going to be front desk workers in 10 years? Probably not. Do you think there's going to be humans taking orders at drive-throughs, when you go to McDonald's or whatever? Probably not. Okay. It's going to take over because it's a huge space where call centers, receptionists, front desk workers, there's a ton of money there every single year that's deployed when you can have AI do this 365 days a year, 24/7. And now on Google Maps, instead of them having to say they're open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. or whatever, and they close on the weekends, it could be open 24/7 because there's someone always to take the call. And it's extremely valuable. There's a lot of extra revenue you can add to clients and businesses if you help them with this. Last is closing deals. All right. Solution is to rebuild their sales script using AI to be 10x more effective. This is one of those things I say is optional. Okay. The main two key things that I'm talking about here is lead generation through ads and getting appointments through an AI caller. So essentially the lead will opt in. Let's say you work with a real estate agent as your client. Your real estate agent, you run ads for them, get them leads. And then right after that, the lead opts in, interested home buyer or home seller, whatever. You have an AI that calls within 5 minutes of them opting in, and then it will book them into your client's calendar. This is more of just an optional if you are really good at sales. But one thing you're going to see is a lot of local businesses absolutely have a terrible sales process, and it kind of just is what it is, So, you can add a lot of extra revenue just even auditing how they go about their sales calls. Your one offer, okay? This is like, for example, if you can offer all three of these or just like the top two, this is what brings businesses a lot of extra revenue. Okay. And they will go pay you a lot for this. For example, I work with stem cell clinics, which is very high-end medical treatment clinics, right? There's a ton of calls, a bunch of proof on my YouTube channel of me doing this, but I charge a lot of money for this. I charge, like I said, 15 to 25 grand for my service because I know I can make them 50, 75, 100 grand back. And it's worth it for them. It's worth it. So with this service right here, this is exactly what I'm doing. And this is what you can do as well, even at a smaller scale. So the first thing that we understand once we understand kind of like what it is an AI agency, the next is actually picking your niche. Okay. This is kind of like the first big thing you got to know when starting this business model of an AI agency. And the way I categorize this is there's kind of two different buckets I throw people into. There's blue ocean markets and then there's red ocean markets. All right. So this would be, for example, blue ocean is like very low competition, but there's less proof that it works. All right. Which is higher risk, higher reward. So think of industries where there's like very little competition. All right. Like I'm talking like carpet cleaners, okay, or like dog breeders or fencing companies. I don't know a lot of agencies that work with them. Like there's industries out there where it's like very, very low competition, but that also means there's just less proof of concept, okay? And then red ocean markets is like where it's considered more saturated. Now, a lot of people have a bad like connotation on the word saturated, but at the end of the day, it just means it's proven. That's all this means. And other people are making money in this industry, okay? Which is lower risk. And if you're new, I kind of recommend to start here. I started with real estate agents on my channel at 16 and ended up, 16 years old. I started at 17. I had $100,000 profit in the bank, liquid at that point, through just working with realtors. So, and I am by no means the smartest. I'm not the smartest person, okay, to say the least. All right. Now, rules I have around picking your niche: just stick to one industry for 3 to 6 months on a minimum. Okay. Don't jump around. This is like starting your business every single week. Don't go from real estate agents, roofers, HVAC companies, etc. You're just going to have to restart your business every time you do it. You think the grass is greener on the other side, but it's not. So don't think the industry is the problem. Stick with it long term and stick with what you already know, right? This is huge. If you're going to get your law degree, maybe go work with law firms. Or if your dad was a roofer when you grew up, maybe go after roofers. You just know the language more. And then next is target a niche in an industry with at least 20,000 businesses in the country you're going after. I'm biased. I think US and Canada are the best markets to go after. Maybe UK. I think other than that, like I'm not really familiar with other markets. I have only US clients for context, but In the industry you go after, make sure there's at least 20,000 businesses, and make sure your TAM, or for other words, your total addressable market, is big enough. And then just focus on 1 or 2 countries only. Don't go too broad. And I listed out some top niches you can choose from here, just for ideas sake. And, you can kind of just look at this and do your own due diligence and pick it today. Don't think on this too long. It's really one of those things where you pick it, you stick with it, you go after it, eventually you'll see success, hopefully, right? Assuming you stick in the game long enough. And the example I like to give is one roofing job could be $10,000 for one roofer, right? If your $1,500 a month fee is if you just have a 90-day long service, which I'm going to get to pricing in a moment. But if your service is 90 days and you charge $5,000 up front, it comes out to, a little over $1,500 a month for 3 months. Your fee is not much. Okay. You get them 1 or 2 jobs, 3 jobs. In my agency, our kind of hygiene standard is we try to get our clients at least a 3x return on our entire service. So again, I'm going to get into this in a minute, but the big things we do is the ads and the AI caller appointment setting booking, right? So with the ads, that's money that comes out of their pocket, and that's completely separate to what they pay us. Okay. So if they pay us $15,000 up front for a service and they pay $3,000 a month to ads, which is $100 a day, which is kind of what we said is our baseline, that's $3,000 a month over 90 days. That's $9,000. That's completely separate to the $15,000 they paid us. That is not, part of our service fee. And so we just total up every single cost they would have had working with us, and we aim for 3x. That's kind of our thing. Next, and then last thing I'll say here as well. This is the reason website design agencies and all this stuff. It sounds cool in theory, but at the end of the day, okay, what extra revenue are you driving for them? All right, unless this is an e-commerce company where you can actively see add to carts or new purchases from the site or whatnot. Your service is it's a commodity. All right. And that's why I just hate seeing people online talk about this stuff, because it's quite frankly kind of a joke. Next, crafting our offer and pricing. So there's 3 different pricing models you can kind of pick. Number 1 is PIF, which is pay in full. This is what I do. So for example, if you have a 90-day long service for what I've talked about so far, you're going to go charge the entire 90 days upfront rather than a retainer, which is more of a monthly service. And then the last resort, if you think you suck at sales or you have no experience, kind of how I did, I started with trials. You can kind of start just charging clients 3-week ads only trials for just $300 to $500. All right. This is a great way to get your foot in the door, get some easy kind of case studies, testimonials, and so on. And use if just again, maybe you tried pitching some retainers or some PIFs and you just couldn't pull it off. And you just are all right, I just want some clients. I just want to get some results. Go for some trials. Okay. I am 100% against the idea of sticking to your price, $5,000 up front. Don't ever budge. Because I remember when I started and it was I was so scared to even charge $500. I was 16, but at the end of the day, I was I don't have the confidence to go charge $5,000, let alone $2,000. So I started with just $300 trials. And the big thing I'll tell you about pricing too is for your first 3 to 5 clients, I don't even think the amount of money you make matters. And I know this is controversial and people are going to disagree with me out there, but what matters is the experience you gain with these clients. Okay. Because that experience and proof now allows you to go charge more in the future. And a lot of people get stuck up and they're super stubborn by charging these big amounts, when really if you just let in some easy kind of clients, you'd get more experience, you get case studies, you get testimonials, and you would have confidence behind what you're saying because you've actually done your service before. All right. So think of kind of these big questions I always ask myself and other people before you try to pitch or start with these pricing models. If you're kind of deciding on one of the 3, ask yourself, do you have any sales experience? Do you know the industry you're going after? Are you confident on camera and on calls? And do you look and sound professional? All right. For example, when I was starting, did I have sales experience? No, I didn't. Did I know the industry, real estate agents? When I was 16, not really. I really didn't. Okay, so I didn't check that. Was I confident on camera? Absolutely not. My first video is comical on this YouTube channel when I was 16. And do you look and sound professional? No, I was obese and I was 16. I was not professional whatsoever. I was some video game addict. So long story short, you got to start somewhere. And I understood that and I had to humble myself. I was look, I'm starting with trials. All right. I don't look like I can really even charge this, even though maybe it was a limiting belief, but who knows? Step 4, which is GoHighLevel setup. So once you've picked your niche, you understand your pricing. Next is GoHighLevel. All right. GoHighLevel is the best CRM out there, 1000% hands down. It's what every agency owner needs. Okay. I don't know why people pay for all these different platforms when GoHighLevel can be the all-in-one CRM for you. It's going to hold your everything from websites, funnels, automations, your phone number, okay, to be texting your potential clients off of, calendars, everything, okay? And there'll be a 30-day link in the description, free trial that you guys can use. Most people out there have 14 days. If you look up GoHighLevel, I've referred them a ton of business. So I have a 30-day free trial. Feel free to check them out. You're going to get a huge snapshot of pretty much all the things I use in my own agency, from the websites, the funnels, the calendars, everything. It's already all set up with automations and whatnot that I highly recommend you leverage. So for example, the big thing you want to set up in GoHighLevel is what's called a funnel. And what a funnel is where you set up a website that looks kind of like this, where you can direct traffic to. And this is going to come back to how to actually close clients in a minute when I talk about that. But you want to have a simple site like this that is very, very clear around your service, okay? And it's where people and potential clients can go to a calendar. You connect your Zoom account on GoHighLevel, and you connect your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use, and then people can book time slots with you, okay? And of course, this is just kind of like a demo account, but it's all templated. I've already made all this for you guys. So again, once you sign up in the link in the description below, get 30 days for free. You'll get an email directly from me right after with a snapshot, pretty much with everything I'm giving you here. And you can just make this for your own business. So you put your niche here at the top, looking to scale to. So real estate agents looking to scale past 3 listings a month or whatever, or implement AI into your business to scale to 3 listings a month within 90 days, or you don't pay, whatever it is, you can coin it. And this is your calendar. Once people book a call with you, they get directed right here, like so, boom, and you have a pre-call page, which I'm not going to spend too long on this. This is kind of getting a little bit more in-depth on the sales thing. I have much bigger videos on my channel, and of course, I have a huge mentorship mastermind group where I go very, very in-depth on this stuff, where I help people build this type of business, which will also be in the top link in the description below if you want to get mentored directly by me and start your own AI agency. But essentially, this is the video people go to when they book their call with you, so you can nurture, make sure they show up to the call, make some videos, and kind of just make sure they're prepared and they show up to the call, okay? All very important as far as sales goes, okay? Long story short, it's very important you do this because GoHighLevel is going to be the foundation of your entire agency and your entire business. I kind of put some things here as far as what it does. And of course, just, you can look at the rest. So that being said, once GoHighLevel is set up, there are obviously the main thing we always ask, and I always asked when I was starting, is, Carson, how do you actually get clients? All right, that's like the number one thing here. Why do we care about any of this stuff? If we don't close clients, we don't make money. It's a very valid point. So there's 3 main methods out there to actually close clients. And again, I'm going to be kind of on YouTube as almost a little bit of the controversial guy for what's recommended, because I've seen what works, and most people on YouTube are going to tell you to go do outreach. Okay. This is where you go to Google Maps or whatever, and you look up business owners and you cold call them and say, hey, I've got a website, or hey, I've got an AI system. All right, guys, is that a joke? Are we done with this? Okay, honestly, I know the agency owners who are making hundreds of thousands a month. I know what I do in my agency where I make a lot of money. No one does that. All right, just to be honest. Okay, no one does that. That is not predictable any way, shape, or form. What is predictable is running paid ads. So this is where you actually run your own ads targeting the business owners in your niche on Facebook and Instagram. All right, and you need as low as like $30 to $50 a day to start this, and this is how you scale, okay? Because now you can book sales calls, and the whole point of this, and why I was showing you guys this, is once you build out this page and you just connect your calendar, it's super simple. This is not like a complex website whatsoever. You can send traffic from your ads to a page like this, where if your ad is interesting and appealing to people in your industry, they're going to book sales calls with you. Once you have sales calls, that's how you close clients. Okay, this is all sold over Zoom, or phone calls, whatever, over calls. We're not selling a high ticket service like this over email. It's never going to happen. Okay, so just know you're going to have to take sales calls, and if you're afraid of that, you have to bite the bullet. Okay, I was too. All right, but at the end of the day, people aren't going to go. They're not going to bite. All right, they're just, at the end of the day, they're looking if you can help them. And if you can approach these sales calls, and I'm going to get into the sales section in just a second, if you can approach these calls with, hey, I can really help you and I can provide value, then that's good. You're gonna be able to provide value to them. But running paid ads is the most predictable way to close clients. And in my agency today, I spend a lot on my own ads. I spend anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a day or so. So it's like 45, 60K a month on my own ads. But if you're just starting out and if you want to book some sales calls, 30 to 50 days is good. Okay, and this will depend. Your cost per call and the niche will matter. So I recommend your gambling budget. This is also, I always say this gambling budget. You have $1,500 to $2,000 set aside to do this. Okay, and if you're sitting here and you're like, Carson, I don't have that money. I don't have the money to do that. You need to get a job. All right, being straight up. This is the advice I wish I heard, and I hope this video serves as like this honest guide on YouTube that is actually giving you some real sauce. Because again, you guys can. I have a track record of years on this YouTube channel to look at. I am telling you right now, you're better off getting a job than doing this right here. Okay. The only time you do outreach, and I say start here, just if you have no money. All right. If you have $0, you're 13 years old and you're in a third world country. All right. Outreach is the move. Okay. But if you are you're of age and you live in a country where you can go make minimum wage, $15 an hour or whatever, this is the move. All right. I'm telling you. And if that scares you, bite the bullet. All right. And I don't say that out of being comical or humor. Like, no, I'm being very, very honest. Okay. Method number 2, of course, outreach. If you have no money, if you have really nothing to start with, this is what you start with. This is like Instagram DMs, WhatsApp, cold email, cold calls. It's free. Doesn't cost any money. It just costs time. So the big reason paid ads, it's in the name, it's important, is you trade money for time rather than time for money. Okay. And also this is just way scalable long term. Okay. Next, last thing is organic content. This is how you close clients. So for context, one thing, I'm kind of going back and forth here, but paid ads, what you can do is you can actually just run AI ads explaining your offer on the ad. So for example, if I was working with real estate agents, I'd use tools like ArcAds or Ideogram, like I was mentioning earlier, and I would simply literally just say on the ad, I'd prompt Ideogram or ArcAds, hey, make me an ad. I want to work with realtors. My service is ads plus an AI caller receptionist, and my goal is to get them 10 listings in the next 10 listing appointments in the next 90 days, or 10 appointments in the next 90 days if it's a roofer. Whatever's realistic for your niche, and then we'll make it for you. And that's literally the ads you run on Facebook and Instagram for yourself. But method number 3, which is a very long-term play, this is like a snowball, is organic content. Okay. So you can post on YouTube, Instagram, literally just talk to your niche. All right. This is something a lot of people don't talk about as well, but organic content is extremely effective if you can do it over a long enough time horizon for 2 key reasons. Number 1, if you speak and you have the word, whatever industry you're going after, let's say you're going after roofers or med spas, you have the word roofers or med spa owners in your title, the algorithm knows, so it's going to push this in front of these people. Now, it might not get a lot of views. It might get 50 to 100 views, not many, all right? Maybe even less, but it doesn't matter. Views are a vanity metric, all right? Like, you guys look at my channel and you guys are like, oh, you have so many views, whatever. I know people with 5,000 subscribers that make 10x what I do, okay? So views are and subscribers are vanity metric. All what that matters is the type of people that watch your videos and your content. Because if you really target people and you have 50 HVAC business owners that watch your YouTube video and it's 12 minutes long and it's good value, it makes sense, and like all this stuff, and it's kind of applicable for them in their business and things that they can maybe consider or be like, maybe this guy will implement AI in my business and get me some results, then you've done most of the selling. A lot of these people come up to the sales call and they literally have their credit card ready to go buy. And the reason this is because they've been nurtured. And that's kind of the second point here as well. When you build an audience, and especially like an organic YouTube channel or an Instagram channel, it's something that you can use for nurturing as you book more sales calls in the future, because then you can send people the channel, they can consume it. And there's a study out there that people need an average of 9 hours to buy from someone. All right, 9 hours of content consumption. And you want to close that gap as much as possible. You want to feed them education, make them feel nurtured, educated, and it's an easier sale. All right, and it takes 3 to 6 months to gain traction. Okay, just very honest. It's a very slow game. When it works, inbound leads just come to you, and it's completely free. It doesn't cost money to post YouTube videos. It also gets you good speaking on camera and speaking to people, which inherently is going to make you better at sales calls. Okay, and again, this goes really, really well with paid ads, because you can send people that book calls from your paid ads. You can send them on emails and your appointment reminders to your YouTube channel to consume. Next, which is actually how to close the sales calls. So present your 3-pillar AI program exactly like how I do in my sales calls. Okay, so this is what it kind of looks like. You guys can take this literally from me. I use a app out there. It's called lucid.app, Lucid Charts. If you guys look that up, I think you can make a free account. This is literally what we show on our sales calls. If you guys look, this is a YouTube video I posted 4 weeks ago, and it was a sales call review showing this exact same thing. And this is a client we closed for 15 grand with my closer, Jacob, on the sales calls. You guys see here, this was a deal closed very, very recently. We show this exact same thing that I'm showing you here. Okay, you can just tailor this to your niche and your offer and who you're talking to and your pricing, and that's how you sell it. Okay, sell it like there's 3 big pillars that you're helping these business owners with. Number 1 is lead generation. Number 2 is appointment setting. And number 3 is sales. Okay, very simple. And then you can explain why it's worth whatever price point it is. If it's 3 to 5K, whatever. Okay, and be very clear. Like, look, our job is not just ads. Okay, the big thing is the AI caller, and the AI caller is something you keep beyond even working with us. That's how we frame it to people, because, it's great to go buy and rent the system from us, okay, which is like what the ads is, we have to constantly manage the ads. They're renting that system as they pay us. But for the AI caller, we can essentially build this and just implement it directly into their business, and they keep it, okay? They have their own GoHighLevel sub account, account within our GoHighLevel, and they keep it even beyond them working with us. If they say, hey, Carson, I'm done working with you, it was great working, whatever, we're going to go just, go in-house or whatever, they keep the system we built for them for the AI caller. And that's why we charge big amounts. And that's why it's worth so much money at the end of the day, okay? We're selling a service that's worth it. Now, last thing is actually how do we fulfill for the service? So this is the timeline I recommend you give all of your clients. First 24 hours is clients going to sign, pay, and send the onboarding funnel link, okay? This is something I give to you guys in my snapshot as well, with the link in the description for high-level sign-up. But I give you guys a client onboarding funnel, and I've already kind of templatized the entire process where there's step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, where essentially this is what you send to someone the second they close on the call and you got their payment and they're now a client of yours. You send them through a bunch of onboarding videos that essentially is automated. So they can consume this stuff. They can go through the expectation video, connecting their Facebook to yours, CRM overview. They understand GoHighLevel because they're going to get their own sub account. They get to fill out an intake form for your marketing, so you have it saved, and then they understand the next steps all before they even have the onboarding call with you, okay? Or onboarding or kickoff call. And this is done ideally within the first 48 hours after them paying. The reason this is because you don't want to stretch out the process too long from when they pay and then when they have that onboarding call or that kickoff call, because clients get cold feet. There's been instances in my agency where we've closed someone in the morning, we onboard them with our client success manager the exact same night, okay, or same day. Because we want to close the gap between when they are like second guessing the decision, super, super important. And this kickoff call, onboarding call, is you're going to walk them through the plan, get ad account access, logo, photos, sales call recordings, everything sent to you. Days 7 through 14, this is kind of where you're building everything out for them. Build ads, AI caller, new sales script, everything. And you're going to test it internally. And then you're going to have what's called a launch call when this is all ready. Okay. This is going to review everything together. Client approves it. And then you go live. And then days 14 to 90 is you're going to have bi-weekly check-ins, 30-minute calls. And every 2 weeks, you're going to optimize, give reports, et cetera, et cetera. And even if you have good results early on, you can upsell them on other services like SEO management. You could technically upsell them on some websites if they need it. And even just like ad accounts and stuff, like that's something we do as well for a few $100 a month, but it stacks up as we have 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 clients, whatever. So that being said, that is the entire I just completely botched it, but that's the entire blueprint, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I went through a ton, but I think this is a great example of kind of the no BS way on how you guys should actually do this stuff, and why I think what you've been fed online is a bunch of BS that just doesn't work. Think about it logically. If you're going to go sell a web design agency or whatever, you're going to go sell websites at $100 per, have fun selling 100 clients, doing all that fulfillment for not much money. All right. Like, why do that when you can go sell one service with good clients that actually respect you, that pay you good money, and you can now upsell them on more and it's substantially less work? I can't go far enough. All right, guys, you guys get the point. So that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want one-on-one mentorship from me and you want to close your first client directly, essentially getting handheld by me over the next 90 days, there'll be a top link in the description below for my mentorship one-on-one group that you can apply for. To be very honest, I'm very exclusive with who I let in because, again, it's not my number one focus. I have an agency. I spend a lot of time there. I have 11 or 12 full-time team members, and it's very time-consuming, okay? But on the side, I do help people with this because I spent so much time throughout my journey on YouTube that you guys can see on things, spending money on things that didn't work, spending times on things that didn't work. It was all like a huge mess to get to where I'm at today. None of it was done perfect by any means. I just spent a lot of time on failure. But essentially, I want to help people get to the point where they just, speed run that entire process and they don't make the same mistakes and waste money on things that I did early on, because it's inevitable, okay? And the fastest way to get to success is having someone help you who's already done it, okay? So it'll be top link in the description below for that if you guys want to get mentored directly from me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, comment what you liked about this if you want more videos directly like this, and I'll see you guys inside the next video. Peace.